This is the story of how Iran became the center of a geopolitical storm, a complex web of conflict, ambition, and power that could reshape the Middle East and the world. To understand why this nation is so pivotal, we have to go back to a moment that changed everything. The year is 1979. The Iranian Revolution topples the US-backed Shah and installs an Islamic Republic, fundamentally altering the country's path and its relationship with the West. This event marked the beginning of decades of hostility with the United States, which had previously been a close ally. Iran's new leadership envisioned itself as the leader of a regional Shia Islamic awakening, setting it on a collision course with Sunni powers like Saudi Arabia and the State of Israel, which it viewed as an illegitimate entity and an outpost of American influence in the region. Over the years, this rivalry has been defined by key events and influential figures. The long and brutal Iran-Iraq War in the 1980s solidified the Islamic Republic's siege mentality. Tensions with the US and Israel have flared repeatedly, from covert operations and assassinations of nuclear scientists to direct military confrontations. The deaths of key figures have often served as major inflection points. The 2020 assassination of General Qasem Soleimani, a powerful and revered military commander, brought the US and Iran to the brink of all-out war. More recently, the unexpected death of President Ebrahim Raisi in a helicopter crash has introduced a new layer of uncertainty into Iran's leadership and future direction, at a time when regional tensions are already at a boiling point. At the heart of this conflict lie four core issues. First, Iran's nuclear program. Tehran insists it's for peaceful energy purposes, but the West, particularly the US and Israel, fears it's a cover for developing nuclear weapons, a red line that could trigger preemptive military action. Second are the proxy wars. Iran has extended its influence across the Middle East by supporting and arming groups like Hezbollah in Lebanon, the Houthis in Yemen, and various militias in Iraq and Syria. This axis of resistance allows Iran to challenge its adversaries indirectly. Third is the deep ideological divide, pitting Iran's revolutionary Shia Islamism against the Sunni monarchies of the Gulf and the secular democratic West. Finally, crippling economic sanctions, led primarily by the US, have been designed to curb Iran's nuclear ambitions and regional activities. But they have also devastated its economy and hardened its resolve. Today, the situation is more volatile than ever. Recent direct missile and drone exchanges between Iran and Israel have shattered the long-standing shadow war, bringing their conflict out into the open. Regional players like Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and the UAE are carefully navigating this new reality, balancing their own interests and relationships with all sides. The potential outcomes are stark, ranging from a fragile de-escalation and a return to diplomacy, to a full-blown regional war that would draw in global powers and have catastrophic consequences. The global repercussions of this conflict are immense. The Middle East is a choke point for a significant portion of the world's oil supply. Any major conflict could send oil prices soaring, destabilizing global markets and economies. Key maritime trade routes, like the Strait of Hormuz, could be disrupted, impacting supply chains worldwide. The crisis poses a monumental challenge to international stability and forces a continuous reevaluation of US foreign policy, testing its alliances and its capacity to manage a multi-front geopolitical landscape. And so, we're left with a nation at a crossroads, caught in a storm of its own making and of external pressures. The future of Iran is not just a regional issue. It's a global one. A complex puzzle with incredibly high stakes, where the next move could determine the course of the 21st century.